Speedrunning is very, very easy. Check this out. Time. Nailed it. I love speedrunning. Well, watching speedrunning mostly. I love how it's an extra game that lives within every game. Speedrunning combines puzzle solving, technique analysis, and perfect execution to make a work of performance art that can be amazing to watch on its own, and even more beautiful if you understand its context. I have a ton of respect for people who put in the countless repetitions it takes to get an amazing run, but getting into high-end speedrunning is daunting. It's a time sink and can be incredibly frustrating. It's bad enough when any wrong move can throw away hours of work, but even worse when things out of your control can do the same thing. But you can design a game to be more speedrun friendly. A few simple tricks can help give more people the thrill of a great run, whether you're a casual player or chasing world records. Let's talk about speedrun-friendly design, what games can do to smooth over frequent speedrunning problems, and how to give the thrill of the run to everyone. Speedrun your favorite podcasts with some earbuds that can handle it, like today's episode sponsor, Raycon. I've used them for years when going for walks, but I can speedrun those walks into speed runs thanks to their optimized gel tips that give you a perfect in-ear fit. I've actually started jogging lately and my Raycons aren't budging. It's nice. Raycons are priced right too. You get quality audio for about half the price of other premium audio brands, and you still get high-end features. Noise isolation and awareness mode, 3 customizable sound profiles for high bass music, balance, or clarity mode for podcasts and audiobooks, Siri and Alexa support, 8 hours of playtime on a charge plus another 32 hours of battery life in the capsule charger, and they're sweat and water resistant. Like I said, I've been exercising with them and have had no issues at all. Click the link in the description box or go to buyraycon.com/designdoc to get 15% off your Raycon purchase. I love my Raycons, and I think you will too. Thanks, Raycon. So, designing for speedrunning. First off, remember that speedrunning is a complement to an existing game. It's not the main event, it's not a substitute for the core game being fun, and it's not a great compromise to make something better for speedrunners and worse for everyone else. We're going to talk about the win-win fixes, the things that will make speedrunning better and are generally just good ways to polish games. Speedrunning is obsessed with not wasting time. Every run tries to eliminate as much waiting as possible. So to make a game more speedrun friendly, let's first try cutting out some things that force players to wait around. The most glaring example is the unskippable cutscene. Speedrunning is not a thing for first playthroughs. Cutscenes are for the people playing the game for the first time to help them fall in love with it. But speedruns are done by players who already love the game and are familiar with the whole thing. They've seen the cutscenes before. Unless you're skipping cutscenes with glitches or something, there's no route to optimize and no tech to use. You should be able to skip any cutscene. Thankfully, this is way more common now than it used to be, but lots of games are nightmares to speedrun because of long, unskippable cutscenes, like most early 3D Final Fantasies, or the cinematic before a tough boss fight in Kingdom Hearts, or even Max Payne 3, released in 2012 with no skip option somehow. It doesn't even have to be a true cutscene. The walk and talk sequences from the Batman Arkham games are an engine, but play out like a cutscene. Or auto-scrollers. They're like cutscenes you can fail. All of these are the same basic problems in different form factors. The cutscene skip option needs to be something you have to do intentionally. You don't want the much larger group of first-time players to be able to skip the cutscenes by accident and miss out on what you worked so hard to make. You've got to put your good UX hat on to keep that from happening. Single tap skips are way too risky. Someone mashing a button to finish a level might end up skipping a cutscene if you set it up poorly. Instead, you can put in either a press and hold option or a confirmation screen. Press and hold skips save button mashers from themselves and also let people back out if they start the process by accident. Confirmation prompts take 2 actions to commit to the skip, as long as you make sure you highlight a cancel option by default. Menu options like cancel or back that don't change things are called non-destructive options, and it's good UX practice in general to highlight those by default to save people from unfortunate mistakes. The second most glaring problem is the unskippable tutorial. The same logic applies here. Tutorials are for the first time player, not those who play the game faster than any human has before. The fix is a little different than the cutscene one though. Unavoidable text boxes slow down the players who don't need them, but you again have to make sure new players aren't going to either miss or mash through a tutorial box by accident in a way they can't recover from. Not knowing how to do a move you'll need to do later can be much worse than missing a key cutscene. The most promising fix is the prove it style tutorials, where you can zip through it by just demonstrating the skill the game's trying to teach you. Think of the ones where someone tells you how to double jump and there's a platform that you can only get to by double jumping. New players can stop to learn how, and veterans can just go and do it without slowing down. Celeste has a great prove it tutorial. This stylish cinematic where a bird teaches you how to mid-air dash is the only time the game stops to teach you something, and it only lasts a couple of seconds. Everything else is taught through trial and error, where first-time players will learn pretty quickly about jump heights, how to use the dash, wall climbing and stamina, springs, and traffic light blocks. The game's optional strawberry collectibles lie in places that help solidify the lessons and get players familiar with the finer details. Speedrunners can just go and do them without stopping at all. The levels are meticulously designed to give players hands-on experience without bringing the action to a halt. Celeste goes even further with its much more difficult B-side and C-side stages, meant to serve as a training ground for the game's advanced techniques. If you can make it through these, speedrunning on a higher level is within your reach. If you can't figure out how to make a player prove it, you can still give speedrun-friendly text box tutorials. Just make sure players can reopen them if they want. Veterans will be able to mash through, but new players that accidentally skip it can just reopen the box. Though sometimes skipping is a good thing. Completely skipping parts of a game is something speedrunners do all the time. If you want to build in a kind of official skip for those who know what to do, all the better. Elden Ring lets you skip the tutorial entirely on a new game. Just don't fall into this pit. It might actually be a little too easy to skip. Some new players have been drawn up the staircase and thrown right into the main game if they didn't understand or read the dialogue in the room. FromSoft had to add a tutorial box for the tutorial. Okay, what else can we do? Speedrunning is not just about time saves, it's also about failure. For every perfect run, there might be dozens, hundreds, thousands of them that aren't up to par. Players are going to spend a lot of time retrying a level, so minimizing how long it takes to reload is another big key to making a game speedrun friendly. Stuntman is not. Stuntman is not that far off from a game built around speedrunning. It's you performing a bunch of driving tasks as a stuntman for a movie being filmed. It's a cool concept. You have to nail your timings to get the special effects to line up, all with the director in your ear telling you what to do and when your cue is. It's tough too. The timing windows are pretty tight. You'll need some skill to get through it all in one take. Screw up, and the whole production has to reset. Now, that would be annoying enough in real life, but this is a video game, so it's not going to take an hour to get everyone to their places, right? Wrong. Retrying in Stuntman involves reloading the entire level from scratch, taking just as long on the first try as the 10th. And we're talking about PS2 load times. They're brutally long. Stuntman is a cautionary tale about one unfortunate design feature taking down an entire experience. Being retry friendly isn't only about load times though. Some games make learning how to speedrun a level more fun. Demon Turf lets you set checkpoints anywhere in the stage, which makes it super convenient to practice what would otherwise be very risky routes. Smart quality of life tools make it a lot easier to bring a new player up to speed. The last easy win is to take out the role of randomness. Relying on a random event causes so many restarts. Other than finding some very esoteric RNG manipulations, there's no way to work around a problem caused by a roll of the dice. A run ruined by RNG is just as much of a waste of time as a long cutscene, sometimes worse. Random loot drops are very common, and getting the wrong drop at the wrong time can end runs single-handedly. Random stat allocations upon leveling up in Fire Emblem can have the same effect. If you can't get the right stats on the right character, you might not be able to pull off some tricks during a run. Dependence on AI is another common source of RNG drama. That could be enemy routes, spawning behavior, how they move, or what they target and when. Speedruns for Goldeneye on the N64 can be hugely dependent on how the enemy's path to objectives, or how Natalia travels from place to place in her escort missions, or where this scientist spawns. If any of those happen wrong, that's an instant run ender. Now, not all game types will be able to reduce RNG without wrecking their game. Card games are built around random chance. Mario Party won't be able to remove RNG without turning it into not Mario Party. But if you can, Making a critical path that doesn't involve randomness can make a game much more speedrun friendly. So, up until now, we've been talking about the little details you can do to make speedrunning better, but there's a bigger issue here. High-end speedrunning isn't really for everyone. The time commitment, the repetition, the research, the hours and hours of grinding, it's all daunting, no matter how fast the reload times are or how many cutscenes you can skip. The highs are high, but the grind is real, and real long. What can we do about that? What if you could get most of the feel of pursuing records without quite so many downsides? Kinda like a fast food version of speedrunning. Speedrunning for the masses. What parts of the speedrunning experience can you emulate in a more beginner-friendly form factor? And that brings us to Neon White. Haha, suckers, I've tricked you. This video was my secret love letter to Neon White this whole time. No, the story's not very good and there's some terrible dialogue, I know. Shut up, that's not the point. I think it's just about the perfect accessible speedrun-focused game. Neon White is one of the best introductions to speedrunning thanks to how it coaches you step by step, from the very basics to getting world-class times. The game meticulously creates a drip feed of goals to aim for, guides you to the tools you need to reach those goals, and then encourages you to blaze your own trail to the top. Neon White is built around speedy times and neon ranks. You have to reach a certain neon rank to unlock the next set of levels. To climb up the ranks, you just have to beat stages quickly enough to get a gold or ace medal, a fast time, or a very fast time. Easy enough, right? Not so fast. You'll probably be too slow if you just play a level once. Don't worry though, the game wants to help you out. After a few runs, the game will show you a hint. This little floaty hand icon shows you where to go to cut time and get that ace medal. It's not going to show you how to do it exactly, it just suggests that there is a path that way. Those hints aren't only suggesting a path though. The process of figuring out how to go down that path can also teach you a little about the more subtle tech of the game. Each card activates a secondary movement-related power when you discard it, like a double jump or a grappling hook, but lots have little side effects in addition to what they normally do. Godspeed is a dash, but dashing also kills the demons you pass through. Purify is a sticky bomb, but you can jump very far if you rocket jump off it, and even farther if you jump off two at once. Every card has its official use, but there's plenty of unofficial ones you'll need to know to get the game's secret top-tier red medal developer times. Even the way you think about basic pathing will change once you see what the hints hint at. Taking a detour off the intended path might let you skip a third of a level, and it teaches you to look out for more corner-cutting skips. It has all the polish we've gone over. Skippable cutscenes and tutorials, no auto-scrollers really. It's extremely retry friendly. It has very little RNG and has tons of subtle tech to learn, but that's not enough to make it so accessible. Neon White does a very smart thing by building all the tools you need into the game itself. Look at timers. Live Split is very easy to install and customize, but it's still an external tool you need to seek out and download. Any barrier, no matter how small, will keep some percentage of your audience away. You want to make it completely effortless to start doing speedrunning things. Neon White keeps track of your timers just by playing the game normally, and automatically updates your times on its own version of the second important thing, leaderboards. All speedrunning is a competition between rivals to improve over time. The chase for a world record is great, but honestly, only a small handful of people will ever be close to the top of the ladder. What about the rest of us? Friend leaderboards let you get that feeling of striving for first place while being more fun by pitting you against people you already know. Not to mention your friends are probably way easier to beat than the single greatest player in the world. The same competitive drive is there for you and your friends as there is for world-class speedrunners, just in a way that can be reached over an afternoon and not months. And then you have that one friend that you just can't beat no matter how hard you try. Here's my time, and here's Tevi's time. Just ahead of me. Forever. Because I can't do racing lines right. Frickin' Tevi. Neon White is built to steadily advance you step by step. From a player just getting through levels, to competing for better and more efficient times, to cutting corners to get through even faster, to combining advanced movement, weapon, and navigation to achieve things that even the devs couldn't do. It's just about the perfect encapsulation of the process and payoffs of speedrunning in an easy-to-digest package that won't take over your life. Neon White gives you all the tools you need, and would love to see how far you and your friends can take it. Get your commenting hats on and meet us down below. Let us know about speedrun-friendly games you've fallen in love with, your own personal rivalries with your friends over leaderboard times, or stories about trying your hand at a world record chase. Speedrunning can be daunting, but it doesn't have to be. With the right tools and design, a game can help foster a community that can take a game to places the designers never dreamed of.